I made sure to insult you before I threw the hook that connected and knocked you down. From the ground you tried to dive and reach for my left leg, but I used your momentum and I slammed you into the pavement. Cement became an extension of my power, a power that knows no limits, no restriction, drawing intensity from an unseen infinite source. I looked at your human form and I felt nothing, a sense of comfort in the roots of my divine hatred. I stood over you and stared you down, avoiding your terrified eyes. I imagine I would have met the real enemy in their reflection, so powerless on that wet concrete. My friends and I made our way along the suburban backroads home, a warmer night for the end of December. A full moon gave the trees a silver lining. I could still see my breath when I exhaled deeply enough. We drank stolen Jack Daniels and repeated the story until the story was tired of being told. With a broken nose and swollen jaw, you walked home alone that night. I never saw you around much after that. I don't know where you went. I was a mighty human man when I conquered you. You laid there terrified at the mercy of my 15-year-old will. I felt proven when I conquered you. Your blood was on my favorite shirt. I broke my hand on your face that night, and I never let it heal. When they put it in casts, I ripped them off, and now it's fucked up forever. What was once a mighty human man stood before me falling apart. I mumbled, please, please run away, but he lives where I do. He left me bitter once. He stole love from a kid that resembled me and never returned it to that kid in full. He ripped God from his weaker arms. The man was burned in fire, reduced to nothing. With him went nothing. He still lives where I do. He wakes in the morning when I first open my eyes. He runs when I run. He laughs when I laugh. He cries when I miss his voice. Sometimes he's a great burden. A burden alive, forever undead. It's in my reflection where he still resides. On a sidewalk in San Diego, God told me he'd kill me by midnight because I had no change in my pocket. He introduced himself as I walked by, a thin man in rags across the street from a liquor store I imagine he frequented. He proclaimed his divinity through rotted teeth atop his throne of thrown-away items. He yelled profanities and threatened my life. He wandered aimlessly and flailed wildly. I could tell he was a hypocrite, ostracized by society. I could tell he was a slave to his vices, and when he opened his mouth, I could tell he was a liar. But was he as aware of this as I was? I saw the track marks inside God's thin arms, and used syringes strewn about on the sidewalk surrounding him, like dandelions you witness existing quietly in a clearing. God seemed lost in the world he created, and his threats ensured that I shouldn't feel sorry about that. On my trip to San Diego, there wasn't enough time in my day. I only had the 20 in my pocket, but I needed that for a t-shirt, not some junkie who thinks he's God. I'm too smart to play along with his delusion. This 20 is too important to me. In a perfect world, I would have felt more for God. But this place isn't perfect, and I was staring at the evidence. A forsaken man on a God-forsaken sidewalk. I stood facing the truth within a lie. I met God in San Diego, and I was certain we had been forgotten. Reanimated bones line sidewalks and corridors, we bear witness. A lonely migration onward into the unknown direction of our many hopes and prayers. The optimist finds comfort in this march. A pessimist sees it as the God-forsaken truth that it truly is. When the rattling bones go silent, I'm curious, who's got it right? Rays of sunshine, a beautiful song. The conductor silences us all when he shouts, "Sing with more terror!" Tally marks exist in the bunches, statistics belong in the group. We exist as just numbers, even in the end, no matter how horrific.